guys, this is Janae with Happily Ever After 4, and today I wanted to show you how to make one of our favorite desserts to eat when we're at Disney World. It's called banana bread pudding. Stick around and you can see how to make it. For those of you who've eaten there, it's a family-style dining restaurant, all you can eat. And for dinner, or for dessert, they bring this out. It's a bread pudding with a caramel bananas Foster sauce on it. So the first thing we need to do with the bread pudding is cut up our French bread into about 2-inch cubes and then toast it in the oven before we mix it in with the egg and milk mixture. And then we need to toast it in the oven at 325 for about 15 minutes. While your bread is toasting in the oven, we will start on our milk and egg mixture. So it's 3 cups of milk, some eggs, salt, nutmeg, and sugar. Whip it up so that all the sugar is dissolved, and then all we have to do is wait for that to come out of the oven. Here we've got our toasted pieces. We're going to put it in a bowl and then put our egg mixture in and mix it up. I like to start with my bread in the bowl and then pour the mixture on top. It makes it a lot easier to mix than putting bread that floats into the bowl with your egg mixture. And by pouring it like that, now it's almost on every single piece. For an hour. So the bread pudding is about halfway done, so now I'm going to get started on our bananas Foster sauce. The original recipe calls for flambe, which would mean that to make it would take 5 to 10 minutes. I don't want to burn down my kitchen, so I just boil the sauce to cook out all the alcohol, which means it's going to take me a little bit longer, maybe about 30 minutes or so. So now's a good time to get started. We're going to start by adding all of our sugars and the butter and half of the cream and get that all melted together and let that boil for a few minutes. So for those of you who haven't had a chance to go to Ohanas, I highly recommend it. It's one of our family's favorite places to eat. It's family style. When you go, they give you, it's like a coconut bread. Everything is Polynesian inspired that you have, and then they start with your appetizers. You have the salad, some noodles, some steamed vegetables, some dumplings, and some wings, all very delicious. My problem is that I like those so much that when they start bringing all the different meats out, I'm already mostly full. But once those have all been given, then they come around with their 4 different kinds of meats that they bring around on skewers and serve to you. It's all you can eat, so if you finish everything you have on your table, then all you gotta do is ask, and then they'll bring some more, which is awesome. But because it's so good and we just eat so much, we always get super full afterwards. So sometimes when it's time for dessert, it's tough because we're already so full, but this dessert comes out and it's just so delicious, so you have to eat it. When they bring everything out, their serving sizes and dishes are all meant for about a party of 4. So if you have a party of 8, they'll bring out 2 dishes. But I remember one time when John and I were there, I think I was pregnant with Calvin, so it was just the 2 of us, and I, of course, was slow and taking a long time. So when the bread pudding came out, John was ready for it, and I wasn't quite ready for it. So he started eating it, and then all of a sudden he looked down and realized he'd ate the entire dish of the banana bread pudding. So we had to ask for another one so that I could have some. But from that trip came our family's term for Ohana full. There's different levels of full. Full that you're content, full that you really don't need to eat anymore, full that you don't quite understand until about half an hour after you're done eating. And then above every other level of full, there's Ohana full, where you're so full, it hurts, so full, you're probably going to be sick, which he almost was sick. He was looking a little green there. It was a little sketchy. But this place is just that good that you want to just eat that much. So for our family, if you leave and you're not Ohana full, it's your own fault. Reservations for Ohana are pretty hard to come by. It's a pretty popular restaurant, and even when you have reservations and you go and check in, you're usually waiting for at least 30 minutes before your table is ready. When the window to make reservations comes, John is up at the moment that those reservations are open so that we can make sure we can get reservations for our trip. But something that we learned is that if you're staying at the Polynesian resort, you can order room service Ohana. You can call the desk and they'll send you Ohana to your room, and you don't even have to have a reservation for the restaurant. So, neat little trick to try. Once this comes to a boil, you're going to add the rest of your cream slowly, and then bring it back to a boil. Once it comes to a steady boil, then it's time to add the rum. Now here's the part where you're supposed to flambe. I've tried it and it didn't work, and so now I just cook it out the old-fashioned way. Not as fancy, but still gets the job done. You'll be able to tell it's all been cooked out when, one, you can't smell it anymore, and two, it's going to start changing color and start thickening up. And one way you can see is when you go like this, and then you can see the bottom of the pan like that. And then you're just going to cook it until you get the desired thickness that you want. And the best way to do that is to have some cold water nearby, and you just drip a little bit of it into the cold water, and then you'll be able to feel it and to know what it's going to be like when it cools. You don't want it to get too hard because then it won't spread over your banana pudding. But if it's not thick enough, then it'll just be too runny. It's almost ready. Now we just take off the heat. We're going to add the vanilla and the bananas. And that's our bread pudding all done. This is the finished product. We've got our bread pudding. You gotta have some vanilla ice cream on it because why not? Plus you have the cold of the ice cream and the hot of the pudding, which gives it a great contrast. And then you just pour that sauce straight on top. The only thing better is to actually be able to eat it. That's good. Aw, man! Tune in next time. We can be able to make some more things from Disney, some of our favorite things, and share with you. Please like and subscribe, and let me know how your version of Ohana's banana bread pudding goes.